Everybody, thank y'all for coming out tonight. My name is Mark, Senior Manager Second, for those who don't know. I am in Wesley Carter's methodology class for EMS instructor, EMS 125. Tonight is a presentation for the final lecture we have. It's a 45-minute lecture. We have a mixed group tonight of fire and EMS personnel. So we're going to count off real quick to show the audience, and then we'll get started after that. So starting here in the corner, we'll go, when I say one, just raise your hand and repeat your number. Okay? Everybody good with that? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright. The minimum requirement is 10 individuals. I apologize. It seems kind of funny, but we have to have proof that there are at least 10 people in the room while I'm doing this presentation. So tonight's presentation, again, it's going to be a little off topic for firefighters, but everybody in EMS is going to do it as well. And I'm going to relate it as closely to fire as I can. Right here lately, we've had a lot of calls running with EMS, and it's something we kind of relate to. If we know what EMS is trying to do and some of the things they're trying to accomplish, then we'll be able to better help them, just like they better help us if we explain what we need. So the name of my presentation tonight is Sheep and Wolf Clothing. Now, this is one of the title for it. Normally you see the sheep and wolf clothing. This is a little different. We're talking about STEMI Imposter and how to identify them. With STEMI Imposter, what we're talking about are EKG rhythms that may present as a very dangerous rhythm, but actually are pretty benign or not really causing any issues at the time. So we got a few objectives covered tonight. First off, we're going to start with classic signs of a heart attack and why we would actually need a 12 lead. Kind of going into detail about if you see EMS or EMS personnel in the building who are actually doing 12 leads, why are they doing that 12 lead? Why are they putting all those leads on the chest? And what exactly does it mean when they do one? We're going to review the basic electrical activity through the heart. Again, this is going to go a little bit deeper into detail about how EKGs work and why they're doing them. We'll go over what a STEMI is, and we'll look over how to identify a STEMI. We're going to talk about why identifying STEMI imposters is so important to EMS, and why we can relate it back to the fire service as well. We're going to cover a few different examples of STEMI imposters, and then finally we're going to be able to look at specific traits of those STEMI imposters and be able to identify them and separate them from what we consider a true MI or a heart attack. Alright, so up on the board, we have the American Heart Association's heart attack warning signs chart. I found this online. It's actually pretty neat. You have two separate classifications. Anybody in EMS, knows a little old adage, if they're 50 years old and they're female, they stub toe, they get 12 lead. The idea behind it is women can present a whole lot differently than men can. And I'm just going to run through these real quick, starting with the men's side. Your number one sign of a heart attack is going to be chest pain and discomfort. Everybody has seen the typical PSA or whatever you want to call it, where you see a man clutched over, kind of bending over. That's going to be your number one big indicator that there's an issue, some kind of cardiac issue going on. Rapid or regular heartbeat, anybody who's actually felt a pulse, normally can tell, is it slow, is it fast, is it there at all. Feeling faint and dizzy or lightheaded, this goes back into, whoever in the room knows about heart attacks. We know they're not perfusing well, and if we're not perfusing or if we're not circulating blood through the body, it's going to be very difficult for people to be able to maintain like the blood pressure and things of that nature because them get dizzy and actually pass out. Cold sweats, these patients aren't going to be looking like we just got out of the gym. It's going to look like they got out of the gym and it's raining outside and they just got out of the shower all at the same time. Literally, these patients, you can wipe the sweat from them and they're going to be beat right back up again. Stomach discomfort and indigestion. Most of the time, it comes out as like nausea. People trying to throw up and can't, or when they do throw up, it's not what we consider normal. And then shortness of breath. If somebody's hurting here, and pain normally is described as almost something like sitting on their chest. We're going to detail later on about that as well, because different types of pain can show different things that are going on in the body. With the women, they're pretty much similar, all the same. I'll go over just the big differences. The biggest differences is in women, a lot of times they present fatigue instead of just a real bad chest pains. They may just be extremely tired, they may feel like they don't want to get up and do anything, things of that nature. Again, not picking away the females in the room, but they tend to present a little differently because of the different ways our bodies are built. And another big thing with women, if you can't sleep at night, being anxious for a couple hours, just can't get comfortable, constantly changing positions is another one for females. Just some classic signs of heart attack. So why is it important to be able to pick out some classic signs of heart attack? You want to give me a guess? Get help quicker. We all remember CPR class not too long ago we took. If you see somebody clutching their chest, complaining of chest pain, you know it's a serious issue, and we know it can lead into cardiac arrest. So early recognition is a real big important step in this process, and get EMS there so they can do these tests we're going to talk about tonight. It's super important. So now this is squiggly lines. Here's the part we're going to talk. This is going to be geared towards our firefighters, trying to make everybody understand that it's not just something on paper. So when we're talking about, again, when we're talking about STEMI, the reason why I showed that first chart is we're not just talking about an EKG. You know, a strip that if I look at, I looked at something before in the past, and I have to get my medical, what is this? Literally, sometimes you just don't know what you got. You have to go off of those clinical symptoms that we just talked about. Are they having chest pains? Are they short of breath? Are they sweating profusely? Are they nauseated severely? Those are the big things, and that's why you have to move away from just doing these 12 weeks. A lot of these medics, you're going to see them slap on the 12 and say, okay, they're fine. But before they did that, they tried to see what kind of clinical symptoms they could pull up on. Most times when they're classic STEMI, you're going to see it on the 12 week or an EKG. You're going to see that perfect representation of what it is. And again, there's always that 1 to 2% who may have no symptoms, none of those clinical symptoms, but be having a heart attack. It is possible, but it's a lot less likely than the patient that's going to be having the chest pains and shortness of breath. And again, when we're assessing these patients, and when the EMS crew is assessing these patients, we're giving them a full checkout. We're not just looking at that totally, not just looking at the squiggles. We're going to give them every bit of our attention and look at every piece of their information. We're going to look at, and we talk about senses in EMS, there's only one sense you don't use on the back of the truck, and that is taste. If you use taste on the back of that EMS truck, you're fired immediately. I hope y'all never taste anything on the back of the EMS truck. So, in order to understand, now we're talking about those clinical symptoms, how patients want to present. In order to understand the actual EKG purpose, the actual way it works, we're going to go over how it works, why it works, and everything. And we're going to look at a couple of 3 lead, 12, and 15 leads, or not 15 leads, but we're going to go over how they operate. So, what is EKG tracing? EKG tracing, 3 lead, 12 lead. They're separate in themselves, but they all have the same general purpose. These are graphical representations of the electrical activity in the heart. So when you see that strip print out, it is measuring the amount of electricity that is going through that patient's heart in the direction it's trying. And we're going to talk really a little bit in detail about the electrical activity of the heart and the direction and what importance that has. So as you can see by the diagram, I wrote out the electrical activity of the heart. There are special cells. Our heart is a very unique muscle. It has the ability to generate its own impulses. A live heart, a fresh heart, can actually beat outside the body for, I want to say, 6 minutes by itself. So it's an amazing thing. So what happens is we have these little pathways in our heart. As you can see in the diagram, you start here at say node. Like I said, in the heart, these don't actually look like yellow dots. they're little pathways that carry electrical current. Your SA node, your AV node, the bundle of his, and the right bundle of his. So it breaks off into two different sections. Normally, when we're talking about pacemakers, or we're talking about how fast your heart is beating, normally the very top one at the top of your atrium, if anybody's familiar with the layout of the heart, if not, we can go over. That top one is going to be your normal pacemaker heart. You know, you might know a normal heart rate for a patient. 60 to 100. And that's what the top pacemaker, that SA node, if it's starting there in the heart, that's what your normal heart is going to be. The reason we talk about that is, in order to understand the next couple of slides, you have to understand that it says really good in the next couple of diagrams, but you have to understand that electricity starts here, goes down through the AV node, down these, and you see how the arrows curve back up towards the top of the heart. Keep that in mind for the next couple of slides, because that's going to explain how we get these 12 leads and these EKGs and how they read out. 3 leads, 12 leads, and 15 leads. So on the diagram, what we have is a couple of different orientations that we can do with our monitors on the EMS truck. When we place these leads, I know y'all seen the crazy bundle of electrical wires and basically look like they're, wire up the sound like getting ready to make the next big hit recording. But they actually have very specific purposes for the placement they have. With your first 3 leads, it's going to read just the frontal plane of the heart. And what I mean by that is, it's not quite as detailed. So when you see a patient and we're helping EMS out and all they have is just 4 wires going to them, that means they're getting a basic picture. They're getting that electrical current through the heart, but they're not getting the full picture. Here on the second one, this is more of our traditional 12 lead. What happens is, instead of just getting that frontal plane, it comes across, and now it actually reads electrical impulses throughout the entire heart, except for the back part. But when you change the direction that your wires and your electrodes are reading from, it changes the EKG itself. They all have the same basic setup, but it'll change depending on where you place that lead and what is actually going on in the heart. The final picture is one that y'all probably haven't seen a lot of. I know everybody here's probably seen a good portion of 12 leads placed when we go to help EMS out. But this one's a little more rare. A lot of people aren't teaching anymore. It's called a posterior 12 lead. Anybody ever heard of a widowmaker? Anybody familiar with that word? So a widowmaker is what we consider a posterior MI. They are very, very dangerous. I think they have something like a 80% mortality rate. Very high rate of death. And that's why this last one is very important and it's kind of overlooked sometimes. But basically, with our 3 lead, we talk about the first 4 wires. You see that frontal? With the 12 lead, you kind of get this front portion here. With that one, you're actually going to finish seeing the back side of the heart. And we're going to go into detail again what we're actually looking at when we see this. So, and I'm not going to go into super big detail about this. This is kind of confusing, but you can bear with me and try and get it together. So the picture is Einthoven's train, and behind it is the science behind why 3 lead 12 lead works. So basically, in a nutshell, if you think about it like this, when we have a 3 lead on, we have positive leads and negative leads. And you see in the picture, the one that goes here on the right arm is a negative lead. You have partial positive and negative on the left arm, and then your left leg is going to be a double positive lead. Why that's important is, number one, this right leg lead that we put on is actually just a ground. So everybody familiar with electrical work in here? You got to have a ground for it to work. You have to have all 4 to work, but the only 3 you actually use are the 2 arm leads and the left leg lead. The general consensus is, if you start off at a negative and you go to a positive, what normally happens as far as voltage is concerned? You want to take a guess?
Cancels each other out.
Cancels each other out. What I'm looking for is you're going to have, let's talk about numbers. If you go from -1 to +1, what happens? You increase. So with that general concept, if you go from negative to positive, think about it as you're getting an increase. So basically what happens is negative to positive, it's going to show an upward motion on that EKG. Just like when you go from positive to negative, what do you think will happen? It's going to decrease and it's going to go in a downward. This is the basic concept of 3 leads and 12 leads. It takes a lot of time to look at them and learn about them to really get a full concept of it. But this is the base concept. Here's a small example. So we showed the different leads that are on in the leg. If you can see, we talked about up here at the top right portion of the heart where we talk about the SA node is. If electricity travels downward towards that positive pole from the negative pole, what do we have? It shows an increase. Same thing here, except it's going a little bit more to angle, so we have a little bit smaller increase. You have impulse that starts on the right side and goes to the left. You see you have both. So it's kind of split the difference. It has a positive and a negative. If you have it coming directly straight up, you have a little bit less of a negative. And if you're going from positive straight to negative, it's a large downward. A large downward deflection. You might want to guess how bad that one on the end is, as far as if that's your original pacemaker. When you see patients getting shot, this is what happens. This is what's happening on the end. A lot of times, is that the electrical activity in their heart is starting down here instead of up here. Just quick. All right, so everybody's seen these some shape, form, fashion, whether it be in a picture, whether it be on the back of the EMS truck, whatever you have. You have different parts of their QRS. And what we can look at is how each portion of the cardiac cycle works with that portion of the EKG or the QRS. So I'm going to break it down. It's a little bit different in a nutshell. Your atrium, where we talk about the SA node is, when it fires, it produces this little small P wave here. And then what happens from there is the electrical impulses are moving downward. So once that impulse starts moving down, what should happen on the EKG? It's going to start going up because we're going with negative to positive, which makes it a positive deflection. So it's going to make that sharp positive deflection, and then it's going to make another downward deflection because we saw in the electrical pathway, it's going to come back up around the sides, correct? So it's going to go back down, and then we go back into the T wave, and what's happening there is there's electrical activity because the heart's getting ready to start the next beat. It's kind of like, almost like recharging a battery. It's going to have a little bit of electrical impulse to it, but it's not going to be a full-on impulse. So this is broken down a little bit further. When the SA node fires, the atrial or the top portion of the heart depolarizes. Depolarized just means sends electricity to it. And it's going to produce that P wave. And then you have a pause between two of the nodes. You have a short segment that's called like a flat line almost. And then your QRS, the big top portion we talked about that goes up and then down, that's during an actual contraction of the heart. That strong electrical activity is actually what causes our heart to pump blood through our body. And then our ST state is a rest period directly after that depolarization. And then the T wave shows the repolarization getting ready for that next beat, that recharge and get ready for the next cycle. So, what is a STEMI? STEMI stands for ST elevation myocardial infarction. So we just talked about the different areas of the EKG and what it shows when we actually see that, when we see the squiggles come across the line. So what exactly is it? What's happening is, in a heart attack, if you can see by the picture, the normal blood flow to the heart, which we can imagine, our heart beats 60 to 100 times a regular per minute. Multiply that by every hour on the day, every day of the week, every week of the month, so on and so forth for now 90 plus years. It's pretty impressive. It's very impressive. So in a normal artery, see it's nice, clear, nothing blocking its path of blood flow, right? Over here is a blocked artery. And when it says plaque, who in here likes Andy's cheeseburgers? Everybody, if you don't raise your hand, you ain't married. Well, plaque can be caused by several different things. You have genetics, you have the biggest thing is your diet, things of that nature. I probably got a lot of plaque runs with me right now, because I probably enjoy once a week go-to words. But what happens is we have small little deposits of plaque and fat, cholesterol, whatever you want to call it, and you start getting a blockage in that portion of that artery. Why is that bad?
Well, blood flow.
Don't have blood flow. So you think about it, if you have a pump that requires electricity at all times, and you start slowly backing that electricity off of that pump, what's going to happen? It's going to blow a fuse. That's a good example, actually. You're going to blow a fuse, it's going to start suffering. You're going to start getting less and less output until it finally shuts down. What do you think shuts down means? Why is that? Shut down completely would be COVID or cardiac arrest. So what actually causes the ST elevation we're talking about? And again, the reason why we're going over this is so that we can understand why the STEMI imposters or the whole, the ones that aren't that dangerous, why they're so different and why it's so important to know what is different. So what happens is when we have this electroactivity, we talk about it, starts in the SA node, goes down, and it comes back up. Well, during that upward motion that we have of the depolarization of the entire ventricles, which finishes pumping blood throughout the body, what happens is if you have a blocked artery, we talked about earlier, that portion of the heart's not going to get blood flow, correct? What happens is that portion of the heart can't accept the electrical current. Because once it dies, electricity can no longer pass through it. It's kind of like the difference between, you might in science class ever do the dirty water versus clean water test for electricity. You might ever seen that? Basically, if you have water that has a lot of minerals in it, like tap water, and you put it between two leads, it'll actually connect the circuit and make a light bulb light up. But if you have clear, pure water, it won't make it happen. So, messed that up. That's actually quite the opposite. So, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was going somewhere with that. But basically what happens is this cardiac cell dies, and when the cardiac cell dies, it can no longer accept electrical charge. And what happens is if you go back to our first couple of slides, and I'm just going to thumb back real quick so I can give you a representation, a private picture later on. So we talked about this isotope triangle. So if you have that change in electrical flow, actually this picture here actually looks a little better. So normally you have your positive deflection, things of that nature. If you change it abruptly, so let's say you're having a heart attack and you have some dead cardiac tissue in this area here, what happens is that electrical current is going to shoot off to the side. So what it's going to cause it's going to cause an upward, it's going to cause it to delay, and it's going to be an upward in the length. And then, does that make sense? Kind of sort of. I know it's a hard concept to understand. It takes a long time. It's almost impossible in 45 minutes to really explain this. I mean, I've been in EMS, I've been a paramedic for almost 3 years now, and there's still things I learn every day about it. But as long as you understand that the reason this ST elevation is there is because there's dead cardiac tissue and electricity can't pass through it. And that's what happens when we have the ST elevation. So, with clinical symptoms we went over earlier, and 12-week with ST elevation, what do you think that means? In layman's terms, that patient's having a heart attack. Because if you have these signs on a 12-lead or a 3-lead, whatever the case may be, and you have those clinical symptoms, that crushing chest pain, that shortness of breath, this patient is very likely having a heart attack. So when we talk about this, and honestly, this took a while for me to understand, it's in medical school. So you see this big old long line of squiggles, right? And it all looks like they all run together, correct? Well, it's actually broken up into different portions. Here is what we actually see on the back of the truck, Here's the actual breakdown of it. These three are grouped together, and what we're looking at is there's just different portions of the heart. There's different view we talked about earlier, we talked about placing the lead. So you have a different view. These are actually, it shows which areas are being affected and which areas denotes which ones. So you have your lower portion of your heart, the anterior, which is the frontal plane we talked about, and actually through it, and then your lateral over to the side. What was missing off of this one that we talked about earlier that was real important?
The posterior.
Posterior. So when you do a posterior, it's a little different, but basically what happens is you'll have two more leads added to the back, and you just change the numbers on this 12 lead here. You change these numbers around, and it shows the same representation on the back side of the ball. Okay? So, which one thing away from this is, when you see that big long strip with, 12 boxes on it, when you see that big strip with all those boxes on it, each individual ones are grouped together into certain different areas of the heart. And that's why we can actually tell where a patient's having a heart attack, because when that electrical current will flow through that current, that portion of the heart, it's actually pinpointing where that tissue is dying at.
Why don't we do 115 lead, if it's gonna show the whole picture of the heart, so it's the frontal stuff?
Do you want the honest answer or the politically correct answer?
Well, I kind of got a feeling about the honest answer, that's just lazy.
That's absolutely what it is. A lot of older providers, they're stuck in their ways, and all they want to do is 12 lead, pop it on, and be done. When the newer people coming up, we're trying to improve things, we're trying to do things better, and actually get a better view of everything. There's a lot of laziness in it, but also there's a lot of lack of training. You wouldn't believe the amount of medics that come out of school even nowadays who have no idea what a posterior 12 lead is. Y'all are literally getting more taught about it tonight in 45 minutes than a lot of medics get taught in 2 years of school. It's one of those things I really advocate for, because about every third or fourth chest pain patient I have, I'm doing the posterior 12 lead. I want to make sure, if you have that extra assessment tool, why not go ahead and use it? And that's the way I see it. But it's a mixture, to answer your question. A little bit of laziness, and then a lot of not training. A lot of these people get done, and they're like, all right, I'm never learning ever again. Does that work in the fire service?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is.
Well, that goes to 15 lead at all, let alone a code, so it just, you talk about 15 lead kind of coming out wrong.
It's one of those things, and I knew that would catch it. I mean, you would call it, even something you miss person I'll call it. That's what's so crazy about it. Again, I'm one of those advocates. If you got it, why not test it? Just like your blood sugar. If you got somebody who don't feel good and feel weak, why not just go ahead and test it?
Is a 12 lead, everything on the front, and then the 15 lead is the 3 on the back, the posterior, or the 12 lead, all ends on the back?
It kind of wraps around a little bit. So when you see the leads are actually going, you have to throw women under her left breast, it's actually going all the way over this side. So you're catching this portion of the heart here and then all of this, but what you're not catching is just that very back portion.
Right.
Literally, and where it sits is, right under your shoulder blade. So when you think about it, the portion of your heart, a heart, don't laugh at me. A heart kind of hangs in our body at an angle kind of like this. What you're not seeing with 12 lead, you're going to see all the way around here in this front part. What you're not seeing is any of this portion at the back of the heart, and that's what that 15 lead does. It gives you that different view.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about earlier, the widowmaker, which is it's really crazy how the widowmaker is such an infamous heart attack, and the 15 leads still aren't done as often as they should be. But that's a perfect question, because when we talk about what areas being affected, again, it pinpoints it directly, and I don't understand why people wouldn't do it more often. Okay, so looking at this 12 lead, we're talking about SDL patient. Let's just say, for example, this patient's having pressure chest pain and shortness of breath. What do we see here in these two right here?
Elevation.
So we talked about it. Your ST segment was right here, right? Probably getting first on right, sorry. So your ST was right here. They have that elevation above the baseline. And I probably should have mentioned that earlier. What we're basing this off of is the baseline from where heart starts. We talk about that initial firing happens. Where that initial firing happens is our baseline, and then whatever this is above that line is how we judge how much elevation there is. So we have elevation, and you got a patient presenting with severe chest pain and shortness of breath, right? We talked about earlier, what's that problem? Having STEMI. Just a random question. If we're here in Pitt County, where does STEMI get transported to?
Right?
Biden. Because Biden has a, they got a heart center, they have a cath lab. It's really interesting. I wish I could have found a really nice video to show you what catheterization looks like. But it is very neat. What they actually do is go in there and bust that clot up that's causing that portion of the heart not to get blood. And it actually frees up that area. Yep, you'll actually go up through the leg all the way up to the heart. It's pretty neat. I've only actually been back here one time. And that's a good move forward into the next portion. STEMIs don't happen every day. There's well, not to you personally. Somebody's having a heart attack every day, I can guarantee you. But as far as you as a EMS provider or as a fire company provider, you know, responding with EMS, every person that has chest pains in Griffin tonight are not having a heart attack. It's not every single patient. So even if you had a patient that had something that looked like this, but it didn't have its clinical symptoms, is it possible they might not be having a heart attack? It is. It is a possibility. It's a little bit, if I saw this and they weren't having chest pains, I'd still be like, hey, they're having STEMI. But the reason for that is I err on the side of caution. So, all this we just covered. Why is it so important? Because in order to understand what is and what isn't a STEMI, you have to understand the initial what a STEMI is. You know, you have to be able to relate back to what these EMS providers are looking for when they actually do these 12 leads and 15 leads. And the ability to actually diagnose a STEMI imposter can greatly increase a patient's treatment. Because if we rush a patient over to the hospital because we think they're having a STEMI, we get there and all of a sudden we find out, hey, you know, it's not a STEMI, they've had this condition for a long time, a couple of things we're going to talk about. You know, what you do is you waste a lot of resources on your end, because most of the time these patients are, you know, driving really fast to the hospital, burning more fuel. And they sound a little bit like business right now, but I'll explain a little more at the end. You take up a doctor going in and checking this patient out on a cardiac checkout, see if they're actually having a STEMI. And you might even actually convince somebody so much that actually doing exploratory cath in an emergency situation. So, and let's say all that happens, and they found out they're not actually having a heart attack. The reason why that's so bad is what if that patient that called 30 seconds after this patient called, and they're already having a heart attack. And there's only one doctor at the hospital at the time that can do a cath. Just like a stroke, everybody's heard a little saying, time in the brain, same exact thing goes for heart tissue. Time is hard. And if you delay that reperfusion or that blood, getting that blood clot out of there, there's a good possibility that you can cause permanent damage. Y'all like more season more slow. I should know that. So coming up with some examples of STEMI imposters. We talked about what STEMI is. Now we'll talk about the imposter side. We'll talk about what we're looking for to rule out these STEMIs. So the first one we're talking about is the left bundle branch block. Has anybody ever heard this terminology before? Pretty foreign. I got a lot of yes, a lot of no's. So we talked about earlier when we had the two separate pathways in the heart and it came back and curved back up. We were talking about the left and right section. So we talk about bundle branch blocks. We're talking about blocks of smaller electrical pathways at the bottom of the heart. And the left one will actually show ST elevation. So looking at this 12 lead, can we see right here where that ST we talked about earlier is higher than that baseline? So the question is this patient having a STEMI? We're gonna look into it because that's a good possibility or not. So you got a couple of criteria. There's a couple of criteria. We'll talk about the width of the QRS. It's going to be considered wide. It's going to be delayed because of that block. You have the really tall QRS complexes and super tall T-way. We talk about T-way roads, that last little pump. So you see how much taller these are than our original picture? That's a big difference we're talking about in that 12 lead. And then some of these monobranched blocks can have actual elevation, and some might not. This one obviously does. They've got some elevation going on. So we'll break down. Here's a picture of that pathway we're talking about again. As you can see, you have the right and the left. So what happens is, when that left is blocked, we call this a STEMI Imposter because it's going to make it look like they actually have the ST elevation. It's going to make it look like they might be having a heart attack. But in all actuality, this is kind of sometimes a benign situation. Benign meaning not harmful. A lot of people are born with this and they develop it over time. That small block in the electrical pathway isn't the same as a block in a vessel of the heart. It causes a reduction a little bit, but it's not actually causing a heart attack. Left monobranched blocks, like I said, normally people live with moderate lives. Now the biggest difference is, if we have this patient with a left monobranched block who present with his clinical symptoms, and I keep going back to his clinical symptoms because they're so important to understanding that most of your patients who are having true heart attacks or true STEMIs are going to present like, they look like they're on death's doorstep when it comes to these heart attacks. Normally, when we diagnose STEMIs on left monobranched blocks, because of those very tall QRS complexes and just that abnormal amount of ST elevation they see, without first looking and ruling out the fact that it is a left monobranched block. So, going into a little more detail, there is a way with these patients that actually have a history of having left monobranched block or that possibly benign rhythm. There's a way that we can tell whether or not they're actually having a heart attack during the same thing. It's kind of like if you go to a fire scene and there's no smoke showing, we all kind of step back and go, oh, no smoke, whatever. It's possible there's still a small fire somewhere in there. Same concept goes with these patients who are having chest pains. Just because they have a left monobranched block and they've had it for years, doesn't mean they're not having a heart attack right under their knee. It's hard for you to see because they have a left monobranched. So this is called scarbosis criteria. Scarbosis was a doctor. They produced this study out back in, I think, the 60s. They found out that they met some certain criteria with that 12 lead. It was changing that 12 lead or that 15 lead. You could tell if that patient was more likely to have an actual legitimate heart attack. So what we're talking about is, you have 3 different configurations, picture to the right on the screen. What it's talking about here is you have one where ST elevation going the same direction as the QRS is above a certain point. You have ST elevation that is discordant or opposite of QRS. And then you have this ST depression. ST depression I should have covered a little bit earlier, but ST depression is similar to ST elevation, but in the sense of a STEMI. What it means is that depression will be on the opposite side of the heart. So when they're infarcted and their tissue is down on the front side of the heart, the back side of the heart is actually showing this depression. And the reason for that is the whole heart starts working harder to pump that blood to that portion of the heart. When it does, it causes minute damage that's not actually considered STEMI. But with these three criteria, we can actually, we know if it's a left monobranched block, it may not be a STEMI. But if it is a STEMI, this is how you can tell on that 12 lead. So I have a picture of an example of this scarbosis criteria. If you look here, the red boxes, as you can see, they have that super tall T-way and they have that X amount of elevation that is just over exaggerated. And then you go back to V2 and V3 where you have that massive depression as well. So those are 2 of your criteria that you've met where you're looking at it, you're saying, okay, there's a strong possibility, even though this patient has a history of having this benign heart rhythm, that this patient here, if they present with those clinical presentations, it's a good chance that they're going to have a heart attack at this point.
Hey, is that a normal rail on top?
Yes, the one on top is actually closest in this flow, is closest to a normal on this EKG. With this, this is a little bit more complex, but yes, to answer your question, up top is actually what sort of kind of that normal is going to look like. So if you want to compare it to how different the configuration is and how much different it is. That's one of those times where you see the medic kind of look at it, you know, try to get back in focus because they don't understand what's going on. So the next STEMI imposter we'll talk about is called benign early repolarization. So we're talking about ST elevation on not, right? And in this picture, is there ST elevation? Is that little portion above the baseline? Alright. I'm not going to ask anybody if it might be a STEMI or not, because apparently I said somebody just a minute ago. But what benign early repolarization is, it's ST elevation, but it's caused by, it's actually really common in healthy applicants. So we've got a couple people here who run exercise daily. There's a strong possibility that y'all might present with this notch in the ST segment. So what happens is you see the ST elevation, but it's not straight across, right? You got this little notch right here, you have this little notch here. That's normally a sign that it's early repolarization and not a true STEMI. Again, most of these patients are not going to present with chest pains. I actually had a big scare when I was a young medic, and I was doing, you know, everybody gets 12, everybody gets IV, you know, that kind of stuff. Every patient's gonna die. Every patient's gonna die, just know. But I had a pretty close call with this one where I wanted to call a STEMI on this patient. And looking back now, I can see how foolish it was because they had no clinical presentations, no shortness of breath. I think literally it weren't quite as funny as a stubbed toe, but I think it might have been like a general weakness call. And it was a male patient, so when I'm looking at the female side of the general weakness being a sign. But the patient hadn't been eating well the past couple of days, just hadn't felt good, you know, so it wasn't really, it did scream cardiac. I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness, they're having a heart attack, obviously. Well, I didn't call it again because I didn't feel right about it. And come to find out, I did a little research directly after that call and found out about early repolarization. And why I'm really glad that he called us in. Because it doesn't really hit home to a lot of people, but if you call a false heart attack, hospitals tend not like that. They tend to get a little mad at you, cut you out, beat you with wet noodle, whatever the case may be. Waterboard, I don't know. One had it done a couple times, I got lucky. So that's your examples of your benign early repolarization, which again is just another abnormality that's found in a lot of healthy adults that has nothing to do with an irregular perfusion to the heart or a possible heart attack. Another big thing is there's no changes. So this doesn't change. With a typical STEMI, the more and more decrease in blood flow, the more and more that ST elevation is going to get. So the higher it is, guess what that means? The more damage there is. With this, you'll see absolutely no change because it's always going to be there because this is a condition that's there for X amount of time. So our next imposter is called pericarditis. You might spend any time in the medical field. What does itis mean? That last little portion of that word, itis.
Disease.
Inflammation. Inflammation. So if you take the two apart, you have this picture, pericardium, and you have itis. So what is the pericarditis? See, inflammation pericarditis. Y'all getting this? Y'all doing great. There's a test afterwards, just so everybody knows. Yeah. So you have so the pericardium. Let's talk about it real quick. It's a really tough fibrous sac. Now everybody sees the picture of the heart. It's sitting inside the body in the chest, and it's all pretty blue and red, and how where blood flows. It actually doesn't look quite like that. There's actually this kind of clearish film that sits over it. It's super tough. And what it does is it keeps the heart from just going crazy. Just in case you get a little bit of, we talked about it in talked about in Horse Plaza the other night, the, Warhammer. And if you get a Warhammer to your heart, this is gonna keep us from blowing out one side or the other. So the normal one is a very nice type paracord. And on the right is a plane that has an information of the paracord. And what happens is this makes you 12 o'clock they're having STEMI, and I've had this patient too, and I got scared to death that night as well. I thought my patient was having a heart attack. He actually has some chest pains. That's the weird thing about pericarditis, and that's why this is one of the most common, right, it's right over the level on the branch. This is one of the most common 12 leads that gets caught as a STEMI. Come to find out they have a history of pericarditis, or they have an infection that's causing pericarditis, and they get misdiagnosed. The biggest things we see, we just talked about this causing inflammation. The chest pain is not going to feel like true cardiac chest pain. When we talk about the chest pain, feels like, for me, it feels like elephant sitting on their chest, right? These patients are going to be more like, it just feels really sharp. It's going to feel like it's something static. Kind of like you can imagine, you cut on your arm and come across the scars and it's inflamed and everything. If you touch it, what's it going to do? It's going to sting. It's kind of that same sensation. It's going to be a sharp, static pain. The biggest thing with these patients, ask them, because a lot of these patients actually know. Sir, have you ever had pericarditis? Well, yeah, actually, I was born with it. So at that point, you know, start looking for the signs of pericarditis. A couple of different ones here. We talk about that ST elevation that, you know, comes up and it's actually higher than the baseline, right? In pericarditis, as you can see, it doesn't, can you tell us by looking at it, what's a little bit different than the last few we've looked at? When we actually look at the true STEMI we talked about. It's a little more horizontal, if you will. It doesn't show as much as that, just that one segment getting elevated here, and then the rest of the 12 going on its normal business. It actually comes out a little bit further to the side. The other big indication is people that have pericarditis are going to have elevation everywhere. So we talk about 12-inch pinpoint where MI might be occurring, and we talk about somebody having elevation everywhere in this 12 lead. What do you think I do not thinking about pericarditis that much? I got to radio. He's having a global MI. He's having a heart. His whole heart's dying. And that's literally what a lot of people will be able to do. And they'll forget to ask that patient, hey, you run a finger lately? Do you have a history of pericarditis? Has any of this ever happened to you before? It happens 3 times a week. Well, they're not having a massive, complete heart attack of the entire heart every day of the week. It's very rare. I can't say I've ever seen somebody say that many heart attacks back then and they didn't want to tell about it. A funny one you can look at, if you were take and draw an imaginary smiley face, and I can't reach it because I'm short, but this portion here actually looks like half of a smiley face. So can you see this? Drawing 2 dots up there, it normally looks like half of a smiley face. Just a fun little way to say fun. It's never a fun thing to make us have a heart attack. But it's one of those things that helps you look at it and say, all right, maybe this is pericarditis. And again, if you see something like this, or you see a medic looking at something like this, and that patient says no to any of those questions, STEMIs can be funny. The heart is a very unique thing. Patients individually are unique. We all change. We all have different things in our body that make us work differently. It is possible that a patient can look like this and be having a heart attack. The difference is what that patient looks like. Are they having sharp stabbing pains in one spot, or are they having those crushing chest pains that might radiate to the left arm, the left side of the neck? So, one of the last things we'll talk about tonight, Regatta syndrome. Now, this was a little different. We talked about 3 different imposters that are very benign. They are very normally not an issue. Regatta is a little different. As you can see, it has an ST elevation here, where it's way higher, and it looks like it was super high, right? And this one's a little different because Regatta is actually very dangerous, but it's also very rare. You don't see this a whole lot unless you work in China or Japan or something like that. What happens is, this is in the background of Regatta, it is normally in Asian males, predominantly, not saying any Caucasian or African American can't have this, but it's normally an Asian male. And its family is genetically transferred down. So if you have that kind of patient moving to town and they say, well, my grandfather, my father before me died of sudden cardiac arrest syndrome. And actually say that, first off, anyone actually says that, they don't talk about most of the time. If you hear something like that and you see something like this, you might as well go ahead and put your head, this person may be having a very serious cardiac event, not necessarily a STEMI though. So their criteria is they're not having a heart attack, but they are having a very serious cardiac event going on. And we'll go into a little more detail in the next slide. It can show in several different presentations. And the biggest thing to remember about your guy, if you're looking to try and rule out a STEMI, you can kind of stop there. If they're having chest pains and that patient looks like they're a cardiac patient, there's no sense in trying to rule it out, because at that point, this is still a very dangerous rhythm. These patients are normally going to be on a lot of medications. They're normally going to have internal defibrillators. You might know what an internal defibrillator is. You've ever seen them? If you ever see someone with a shirt off, they got a pack of cards sitting right here, that's an internal defibrillator or a pacemaker. These patients get those automatically when they get this kind of issue. So you know it's a pretty serious thing. And again, if you're in doubt about medicine doubt, guess what they're going to do? They're going to treat it as a STEMI and run them in hot, so to speak, for 1018 for those who recognize 1018 traffic. You're going to run them in because whether or not they're having a STEMI or not isn't as important as the fact of this person's in trouble, because they're having some kind of cardiac issue that can lead to that sudden cardiac arrest or that sudden death. The other interesting thing about this is if they have a family member that died in their sleep, a lot of times it's undetermined. That's also another sign that they have several family members in a row that passed away in their sleep.
Is that genetics? Is that what you said? Genetics?
That is a genetically passed down situation. It's not saying that we have a lot of military families that live over in Asia and in Japan and things of that nature. You get enough of the gene pool in a certain area that trait could be passed down to people who aren't full Asian or even partially Asian. You can't tell by looking at it. And it's not a race thing, it's just literally a geographical thing that started in one area and is passed along. It's one of those things that's interesting to look for, but not as important as treating that patient and getting them somewhere quick for help, because they're already need help. So a little short, quick review. We talked about it all throughout. 3 leads and 12 leads measure the electrical flow through the heart, and that's how we really determine where these patients might be having their STEMIs or their heart attacks, where that clot is preventing blood flow to the heart. We see it due to the inability of that electrical activity to pass through the heart at that portion of the 12 lead. We have one of the left lung branch blocks, benign early repolarization, pericarditis, and Brugada syndromes. As for your more common STEMI imposters, there's actually a good probably 4 or 5 other ones, just you could think of top of that. But these are your more common ones. These are the ones that we focus on when we go into a house and we're looking for something that may not be a heart attack at that time. The big important thing to take away from this is now we have a little more understanding about what happens when we do a 12 lead and why we look for those ST elevations, why we look for those patients having heart attacks. Is if we're looking so hard for something like that, it's equally as important to be able to rule out these benign issues or these issues that aren't actually a heart attack, so to speak. Because again, if you waste those resources, you waste somebody's time. You're not just wasting money, you're not just wasting regular time, you're wasting somebody's heart, you're wasting that muscle of somebody else that could need that doctor at that time. So it actually is very, very important. A lot of people in the EMS world think, well, I'm just wearing on the side of caution table. That's fine and dandy. It's like I tell a lot of our patients we carry who aren't really sick. They just want to talk to somebody, they just want to ride to the hospital. I have no problem carrying you up there. I have no problem talking to you. I'll come sit down with you and have breakfast with you if you want to. But the day that you call me to sit down and talk, cause somebody else harm, that's where I have an issue with it. And that's why this is super important to EMS and life safety. If you're going to learn about 12 leads, you're going to learn about 15 leads, it's equally important to learn about STEMI imposters. Any questions? I had a lot of good questions. Y'all are amazing, because even when I presented an EMS presentation to my EMS crew, I got less questions there. So it's kind of like, I really appreciate the feedback I've gotten tonight. You might, anything you want to add? That is your personal opinion, sir. I love both. I love you guys. Thank y'all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
So the next code, actually, I'm gonna ask them, I'll put 15 million.
You can absolutely ask them, first off, let's make sure the patient's back at that point. But I'd be like, hey, thought I'm gonna push here. First off, the medic's gonna look at you and be like, instead of letting you think, I'll be like, sure, why not?
When you normally run a code, do you not put any leads on to start with?
No, because what happens during the code when you go to cardiac arrest, what happens is you don't have any electrical activity going through the heart at the time. When you do, it's not enough to produce a heartbeat. So 12 leads are normally left off during the actual code process, but they are extremely, extremely, extremely important after we get patients back. It's like the very next thing that should be on your mind is getting this patient on 12 leads and see what's going on. Let's see what's happening inside that heart, because did this person pass initially because of a heart condition? Did they pass because they were having a heart attack? Or, was it something else? So, absolutely, if these patients are able to be placed on 12 lead, 15 leads, they should be, because if, we talk about an 80% mortality rate, how possible is it that every patient you go to that had those crushing chest pains, how possible is it was that widowmaker, that posterior heart attack? I mean, it's a pretty good chance. So it should be being done on every patient we get back. Any other questions? These are all great questions. Super awesome questions.
Staying years ago, I had problems. Fluid actually build up around the heart, and it started off with a jet. And all that. I had in '98, I had a STEMI implant. And just one spot was hurt, until hurt. And I went several days, and I finally went to the doctor, and decided they put me up on the machine. They called rescue to pick me up from behind the hospital. And from the time I left home, 2 hours later, I was in the hospital, had STEMI.
Oh, wow.
And actually stayed there. They don't push further down. You can sit there and watch them run that wire up there. So the lady. But now they're going off from the wrist.
I have heard that there's probably more on the business than here, because I think the chance of infection is a whole lot less up here
Parents
than it is
started
down
going
here.
from the wrist. I mean, a couple of years ago, rechecked, they said I had put in, and that's when they went into the wrist and looked at check, not sure it was all right.
So you said they're walking with it a little bit.
I sat there and watched the wire. To that mom.
That is amazing. I feel on that. Kind of like, thank you. I appreciate it. Anybody got anything else?
Is there any test you can have done to see if you got any light buildup?
Absolutely. We have stress test. That tests the electroactivity in your heart. It looks at which pathways it takes, especially under a lot of stress. Stress test actually means putting the heart under stress. The other one we call an exploratory cath. When we talk about that, when Mr. Williams was talking about, they ran the needle all the wire all the way up through. What they do is actually go in instead of we go in with a camera the first time. They also go in with something to break the clot up. With an exploratory cath, all they're going to do is run a camera and take a look. It's kind of like just getting the people what's going on before you actually go in there and do all this extensive surgery and have stents placed and all that good stuff. So there are absolutely several different tests. Your doctor can tell you whether or not they feel like you need a stress test. Anybody who has like regular chest pains or shortness of breath after exertion, it'll be a great idea to go have these tests done, regular 12 leads, things of that nature, to make sure you're not having small heart attacks or something of that nature. Okay? Good. Are you? All right. Thank you guys again.